let's go over the main screen and what we'll find here. First thing, in the top left, you'll see an icon for the solar array. It's about 8 o'clock where I am right now. So the sun is getting ready to set. So we're not pulling in a whole lot of solar, but we do have some solar coming in. Oh, about 200 watts. You can see the different arrays. Right now I have 2 arrays hooked up, PV1 and PV2. We'll be hooking up the other 2 arrays later on. You can see that we have the total energy that is produced in a day and total for the inverter. And right now, because we just set the inverter up, we don't have any totals to report. Back to the home screen, we can check out the battery settings. So we'll go into battery, see what our current voltage is, how much is being pulled in amps, the state of charge for the battery. We don't have comms, so temperature isn't going to report. We're currently drawing about 100 watts out of the battery, and our battery type is set to lead acid. Remember, this is also custom. We have our charge voltage, our charge current, and our discharge current. These settings are overridden by the settings in the setup menu of our total charge and discharge for the day and for the totals. You can also see the inverter state. So right now we are using PV grid, the inverter state is grid. DC to DC state is discharge because we are using battery power. L1 is at 120 volts, L2 is at 120 volts. We're pulling about 1 amp on both and about 100 watts from each side. We can look at the grid supply. So our grid frequency is exactly 60 Hertz. Coming in from the grid on L1 we have 121.4, L2 we have 120.7 volts. You can see that our draw from the grid is 3.4 amps per leg, and we're using a little bit of 20 watts or so on each leg, and no totals for the day. Look at the generator settings. Currently we're not running a generator and we don't have a generator connected, so there's nothing really to report there. But you can see the frequency, the voltage, the current, and the power in watts being input by the generator and what would be used if we had a generator hooked up. Lastly, we can check on the home, and this would be our load. Right now we're pulling 122 on L1 and 121.5 volts on L2. Current, again, about 2 amps per, and we're just barely pulling any power on each leg. My loads are at idle right now. Keep the noise down for our video. Go back to the home page, and it is a nice screen, easy layout, easy to understand. You can see with the directional arrows where the power is flowing to. So we have 100 watts coming in from the solar. We're pulling in about 100 watts from the battery. We're not really pulling much in from the grid right now, and all of that would be going into the house. Now, if we wanted to, say, charge our battery, what we could do is go into settings, go to our advanced settings in time of use, and change our time slot to 53.2 volts. So here we go. We're going to make that 53.2. We're going to click OK. We're going to hit save. We're going to go to our home screen, and now the battery is being charged by the grid and by the solar based on our 20 amp charge rate, which is about 1300 watts. So we have 1 kilowatt going into the battery, and you can see it's pulling power in from the grid, it's pulling power in from the solar, and it's pushing it into the battery. If you were doing a grid feed setup and you were feeding back to the grid, you would be able to see the directional arrows going into the grid if you were sending positive electricity back into the grid. Now we'll go into our battery settings, and we can see now we're charging at 20 amps and increasing the state of charge of our battery. The home page. If you touch an icon and you want to go through without going back to the home page, you can simply touch an icon up here and move to battery, inverter status, load status, grid status, and generator status. Go back to home. We're going to go to settings, advanced, And we will reset our parameter for 4 to 9 p.m. back to 48.5 volts. So we're going to do 48.5 and save. So now we'll see the battery change and we have discharge from the battery. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks for watching and have a great day.